Sup, y'all, and welcome to Cities and Urban Land Use, Part 9. In this video, we're going to look at this essential question: how can we rank urban centers according to size and services? Now, some intellectuals have claimed that Walter Christaller erred in his development of central place theory in the 1930s by focusing on the size of population and determining the importance of a city. Although population size is important to the areas served by the city, what may be even more important is the variety of services offered there, in attracting people and, more specifically, consumers. And comparing cities across countries, population becomes even less of a significant indicator of the importance of a city. Now, for example, a settlement may often be considered urban in Denmark with a concentration of just over 250 people. Whereas in the United States, it is often closer to 2,500 people. And in regions with even greater arithmetic population density, the number climbs even higher, such as in Japan, where a settlement isn't even considered urban until the number approaches 30,000 people. So, ranking settlements by the numbers and types of services offered creates a more reliable means of measurement. So we'll look to rank urban centers by service offerings, not necessarily size. Nonetheless, a hamlet is a small settlement in a rural area with few services, if any. They often have no local government or official boundaries. Sometimes the only way you know you're there is by a sign. I've actually driven through Skaneateles, New York. If you blink, you'll miss it. Then we move on to a village which is larger than a hamlet and usually rural, with dozens of services and even more specialization, so you'll tend to see a greater variety of jobs and amenities. And of course, looking at the images, you can see the great variety of villages around the world. And even though Greenwich Village is right in the middle of New York City, if you go back to the 1700s, it was indeed a village. Now, a town is when we begin to use the term urban. It has even more population, services, and specialization with a downtown and a hinterland, which literally means the land behind the city. Other terms for the hinterland would be things like market area or the surrounding service area. And a city has even greater population and more specialization. A city has a CBD, a central business district, and a larger service area. Now, towns have hinterlands, whereas cities have suburbs. Just break down the word, it means suburban. And because of their size and range of services, cities have greater centrality or pull towards them. And then we move on to a metropolis, which in Greek means the mother city. It is generally a large city and its surrounding urban area. It is usually a significant economic, political, and cultural center for some country or region. And then we go even greater to a megacity, which is usually defined as a metropolitan area with a total population in excess of 10 million people. Most of the time, a megacity refers to a single metro area. Bear in mind, as cities grow, the people and governments within and around them must deal with increased crime, cost, pollution, and many other issues such as traffic congestion, which you can plainly see here. Now, this chart is certainly an eyeful, but to get an idea here of the 25 largest megacities, of course back in 2011, so it's a little bit dated, but I think it gives you an idea about just how big some of these places really are. For example, Tokyo is obviously the largest, but you can see the growth rate is relatively small, whereas Guangzhou in China may be the largest city you don't know about, coming in at around 25 million with a 4% growth rate. So just to sample some of the biggest ones, you see Tokyo or Seoul in South Korea, Mexico City, Shanghai, Los Angeles, Rio de Janeiro. But certainly the growth of cities doesn't always mean the growth of wealth for everybody also. Mumbai, which is considered the gate to India, has some of the largest slums and shanty towns in the world, as does places like Karachi in Pakistan, where you can still see buildings going back to the British era when it used to be a colony, or other places like Dhaka in Bangladesh, and Lagos, Nigeria. You will see downtowns in all these areas, but you'll also see a lot of common areas as well. And then we finally get to the megalopolis, which is a conurbation or a connected urban area. A chain of roughly large, adjacent metropolitan areas. For example, one of my favorites is Bosniawash, which deals with Boston, New York, Washington, and the urban areas in between them. Now, a megalopolis isn't one giant city, but you sometimes don't see much of a break in the urban landscape itself. This is an occurrence that we largely only tend to see in the more developed countries of the world, where development and wealth is more widely distributed. So in the US, you can see places like around the Great Lakes, or the Northeast, even down in South Florida, and over into Texas, and other ones along the West Coast as well. Like anything else, urbanization is not evenly distributed around the planet. Now let's take a look at the top 3 regions of the world of major megalopolitan development. Coming in at number 3 is the Blue Banana with around 110 million people. It's a discontinuous corridor of urbanization in Western Europe. Now, why is it called the Blue Banana? Many say that it represents the core of Europe, and the flag of the European Union is largely blue. Other sources claim that the color refers to the blue-collar workers. Now, an urban conurbation that predates the Blue Banana is Randstad, which means ring city, which is in the Netherlands, which connects Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague, and Utrecht. Now, I tell you this to show you that urban areas in developed regions can often grow into greater urban areas. Coming in at number 2 is the Pearl River Delta in China with over 120 million people. It is one of the most densely urbanized regions in the world and one of the main hubs of China's economic growth. High-speed rails connect many of the urban regions, and it may even coalesce into one giant megacity. And number 1 is the Northern Indian River Plain with over 200 million people. Now, why this is number 1 has a lot to do with geography. This densely populated area is found along the Indus and Ganges rivers and up against the Himalayan mountains. Now, this isn't the most sophisticated urban area in the world, but has grown mostly due to the fertile lands that are around it. To conclude, the world today is more than 50% urban, and between more towns, cities, metropolises, megacities, and megalopolises, the world is only becoming more urban. And for your viewing pleasure, enjoy the view of this intersection in Shibuya, Japan.